Here's a quick tip for a question I've gotten from some teachers lately. How can I hide the students' grades for an assessment until I'm ready to release them? Let's take a look. First, I want to do a quick refresher. On the left, we want to remember that the reported grade, or the grade that's displayed for students for an assessment, is different than the actual score for their attempt at the test or quiz or assessment that we see on the right. So when students first go to an assessment, that cover page is where the grade would be displayed if that is active. When they click View after an attempt, if that's been made possible by the teacher, that's when they would see the calculated score based upon the point values of questions for the items in an assessment. Now, it's important to remember this distinction because the grade that might be displayed when students come to the assessment would display your grade is going to be out of a total of 100 points or 90 points. And that might be different from when you come to the assessment, there's no grade element displayed at all. For example, on the left, here's a student who, when they come back to the assessment, the student had completed the assessment, and when they come to it, they can see their reported grade. They got 5 out of 6 for the grading scale, and when they go to view, they will see their attempt score. However, here is a student who completed an assessment activity, and after they've turned it in and submitted it, not only are they not able to view the results, to view that attempt score, they do not see any grade information displayed at all. On the right, here's how I set that up. So on the left, the example where when students come back to the assessment after they submitted, they might see a grade. On the right, here's that assessment set up as a teacher. And the students see that grade information because under Actions Edit, I've actually entered a total points value for the grade that's to be applied to the assessment. Now, for the example where there's no grade displayed at all, as a teacher, I simply, in the Actions Edit, I set the points to 0. So I can control the release of the grade displayed to students by simply setting the Actions Edit and total points to 0. Some teachers I was working with recently decided that when they create their assessments to begin with, and if they want to control the release of the grade information for their students, they're initially just going to set up the assessment so that their edit total points is 0. After students complete the assessment activity and make their submissions, they can then review the submissions, do any teacher scoring or overriding as necessary. And when they're ready to release the grades to students, they can come back to Actions Edit and then set the total points. So for example, this one was going to be out of a total of 40, so I could make that change. Then, when those students would return to that assessment or activity, so here if the student goes back to that activity, now that I as a teacher have set the points for the graded value, students would see and receive their reported grade. So the quick tip takeaway, how can I control the release of the final grades for an assessment activity to my students? I would simply, in the Edit Assessment view, set the total points to 0 at the beginning, and then later on, when I'm ready to release the grades, I can come back to the Edit Assessment and enter in whatever the maximum points or grading scale that I'm using to be applied. That's it for this one.